Salud, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping in. Normally, I don't do reviews. This isn't really a review channel, but obviously, I do them from time to time whenever I feel like something's important enough to me, anyway, that I just want to talk about it a little bit. Yep, you saw the title, so I'm going to be talking about Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire. And this is not scripted, although I do have some notes here because I got a couple quotes that I want to get right. Otherwise, this is completely off the cuff. So anyway, went this past weekend to see Frozen Empire for a Sunday afternoon matinee. Took Netter with me. And just full disclosure up front, I am coming at this review from the point of view of a real Ghostbusters fan, in case you couldn't tell, right? And Netter, she'll call herself a fan, but she's not a fan. You know what I mean? She enjoyed it. She enjoyed the film. So, boom, spoiler, okay? General audience, as far as popcorn films go, enjoyable. She said she really liked the film. But I'm going to get into it a little bit more, like I said, from a fan perspective. Let's start out with the good, okay? And to do that, and I should point out, this is a non-spoiler, kind of review. I will do a part 2 that will be a little bit more spoilery, get into a little bit more details about some things it's probably not a good idea to talk about on this platform, so, watch for that one over on Rumble. I'll share the link with all of you when it goes up. But for now, let's just get into, first I want to address something that is just bothering me about reviews these days, and it's this repetitive phrase I keep hearing: fan service, fan service, fan service, as if it's some sort of a bad thing. I mean, who creates a product that they don't want their target customer to enjoy? I mean, right? If you're doing a franchise film, okay, you are at least starting out catering to your fan base. So this idea that there is fan service, as soon as someone says that, I'm automatically questioning, the value of their review. As John Lingate famously said, and of course, repeated by Abraham Lincoln, so it's oftentimes ascribed to him, and this is where I have to get the quote correctly: "You can please some of the people all of the time. You can please all of the people some of the time. But you can't please all of the people all of the time." And a niche franchise can please some of the people all of the time. Those are usually the fans, right? A really well-done film with a very general appeal can sometimes please all of the people. But a niche franchise film can rarely please all of the people. And trying to do so will likely alienate your target audience and corrupt and ruin the franchise. Looking at Marvel, looking at Star Wars, looking at Star Trek, just saying. What I will say is something that's often referred to as fan service, but I think is absolutely crucial in sequels, right? We're talking about franchise films. This is, we're talking about a sequel here. There's story that's gone before this, and that's the concept of lore. Some people refer to it as the canon or the history or whatever. And there seems to be this idea that this is fiction. You could just throw that out. That doesn't mean anything. Well, if you're a writer, even if you're writing something that is a sequel to something someone else wrote, you have to be aware of that lore and be faithful to it, or you're not doing your job. If this, Ghostbusters, ignored some big element of one of the previous movies, well, then is it really a Ghostbusters movie? At what point, is it the movie of Theseus where, you've changed it so much it's no longer the thing that you loved? But this one actually has a lot of, I guess you would call them callbacks, but I refer to them as necessary history. For example, there is, at one point, they're going through some, and again, I don't really consider these to be spoilers. These aren't major plot points or any big shocking surprises or whatever. They're going through some news footage. They did something like this in the previous movie, and there's an article about the Statue of Liberty incident of 1989, and it's got a photograph of the Statue of Liberty, walking down the main thoroughfare. That's two-part. First, that was a big event in New York, right? In that world, so it's hardly fan service to call back to that, but it does serve a secondary purpose. And believe it or not, there were a lot of people online that argued that Ghostbusters 2 was non-canon, or it was out of canon now after Afterlife or something like that. This pretty much puts the kibosh on that. We have 4 movies now in this linear storytelling: Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters 2, Afterlife, and Frozen Empire. But there are some callbacks to the extraneous, I guess you call it expanded universe sorts of things as well. For example, Janine goes through a bunch of different outfits throughout the film, and in what I think is a very conscious and intelligent fashion sense, she changes her glasses to match her outfit. Well, in one scene, she's wearing these blue plastic frames, which I have to believe are a reference to the real Ghostbusters and her appearance in that. Of course, I think a lot of the promotional material has already let you know, so if this is a spoiler, it's already been spoiled for you, that Janine does don the overalls and does some ghostbusting herself in this movie. I'm not 100% certain, but that facility that they show, this Ghostbusters research facility, I think the location might be a reference to the Ghostbusters PC game. I'm not 100% certain about that. I'm going to have to go back and double check that. Both the game footage and Frozen Empire. We do see, of course, the library ghost. We see Roger Delacourt at the library. Again, these are things that I don't really so much consider, fan service, callback type things. These are part of the established canon. At no point did they ever show them catching that library ghost. So you assume she's still there, and guess what? She is. And there's no reason to believe that Roger Delacourt is no longer, running the library. Of course, I think everyone knows that Walter Peck comes back, but he is now the mayor, as you would expect. The mayors change. He was a bureaucrat, so it's not a surprise he would run for mayor. I'm kind of surprised we didn't get some reference to him wanting to run for governor. I think that would have worked well into this story, but maybe I missed it. There was a lot here that I missed. So these are some of the good things, right? Another thing that I'll say about the lore is we got a lot of what Paul Chatto would call gear porn. We got a lot of the doodahs and the gadgets. Now, we know that's all mostly for marketing, but nonetheless, it's kind of exciting for the fans, upgrades to the packs and so on and so forth, and new devices and whatnot. Some of the negatives that I have heard online, I will acquiesce to. It is a bit, there's a bit much in this movie. I think Afterlife did a great job of bringing back the original Ghostbusters, all of the original Ghostbusters. And you can't please all the people all the time. Some fans wanted more of them, so they gave it to them in this movie, and I think that was a mistake. This is going to be a hot take. I think some fans might really disagree with me. I think that, yeah, it's great they were able to get Bill Murray, but I'm not sure that we need him. Love Bill Murray, he's great, but in the narrative going forward, he's not really, he didn't bring a lot to this movie. He's great in the scenes he's in. He's got a lot of great lines, but I don't feel they were necessary. I do think that you kind of do want to have Ray and Winston. They are very integral as supporting characters. I think Ray needs to move into the role of kind of like the Obi-Wan ghost, right? You only see him in 1 or 2 scenes, and he's a reference source. You drop in at Ray's bookstore, you know, ask him a question, he pulls out a book or he pulls out an artifact and shares some lore with you, sends the Ghostbusters on their way. Winston, of course, much richer role in the lore. He is the financier behind the Ghostbusters in-universe franchise. He owns the firehouse. He owns the research facility. And if the Ghostbusters need something, he would be the one paying for that. On the other hand, if they screw something up, break something, whatever, he's the one paying for the insurance, and he might be the one that has to pay for the damages. So, again, he could be a useful plot point within a story, but again, maybe just 1 or 2 scenes. We need to, at this point, focus on the new characters. I feel like this movie, because they tried to squeeze so many characters into this, including, you know, like 2 or 3 new characters, you know, I see this as the same problem that we saw from the Batman franchise. First movie was Batman and the Joker. Second one was Batman, Penguin, Catwoman. The next movie was Batman, Robin, Riddler, and Two-Face. Then the next movie was Batman, Robin, Batgirl, Poison Ivy, Bane, Mr. Freeze. It's like, okay, the more characters you squeeze in, the less development they all get. So yeah, I see that as a problem. But I don't see these as insurmountable problems. I do see these as maybe we need to move on and, you know, plan out the stories a little bit better. I am not the kind of guy to go to for the numbers. I've seen Valiant Renegades videos about that. I've seen WDW Pros videos about that, Midnight's Edge. Definitely check those guys out. But I'm not too concerned about this movie, you know, how it does as far as the box office. You know, I think there's a lot of people that, for whatever reason, want to see it fail and, you know, don't, you know, think it should die and, you know, whatever, for whatever reason. I'll get into that more in the part 2. But I think if it comes close to breaking even, the merchandising will more than put it over the profitable mark. See, and this is Sony, right? This is why they're holding on to Spider-Man. They're not so worried about Spider-Man movies or all these there's a reason that they put out Madam Web and didn't spend any marketing dollars on it. They want to just be able to keep marketing Spider-Man doodahs because that's where the money is. This isn't just a Mel Brooks joke. The marketing really is where the money is. Ask George Lucas, he'll tell you. And if, you know, if people aren't interested in the marketing, it doesn't matter if the movie, you know, was a summer blockbuster if it makes no money thereafter. This movie, Frozen Empire, is going to Netflix, so they're getting their licensing fee out of that. It's going to go out on a DVD, Blu-ray. You know, the fans are definitely going to be picking up their copies, especially those of us that, you know, picked up our multi-film packs and so forth. Gotta catch them all, right? I would not be surprised if Hasbro doesn't do an update to the Proton packs or put out some of the new tchotchkes and whatnot. Definitely looking forward to that as well. So not too concerned about that. Where would I rank this in terms of Ghostbusters movies? obviously Ghostbusters, the first one, is right at the top. I have a much higher regard for Ghostbusters 2 than I think a lot of people do. And I think I would probably put Ghostbusters 2 and Afterlife pretty much right on the same plane. So that would put this one in like a third place. But, you know, kind of a cheating third place. Or you can call it fourth place if you want, but it's pretty well up there. I am going to be seeing this movie again because there was a lot of details that I missed, and I just really don't want to wait around for it to come out on a DVD to catch those elements. But that's just me. That's just my fanaticism. But if you are a Ghostbusters fan, yeah, I do recommend this. I do recommend you get out and see it. Just go in with the expectation that, you know, this isn't going to be the best thing since sliced bread, and there are some weak points to it. If you are, you know, a just general audience, or you happen to be, you know, related to or in a relationship with, you know, someone who's a real fan, go. I think you're going to enjoy it. Netta really did. She's heard some of the negatives, and it kind of annoys her. And I'm like, honey, you have nothing invested in this. You enjoyed it. That's fine. People don't have to agree with you, you know. Yeah, that's really all I had to say about this particular movie. I'm going to get into some more details. I'm going to address that one element that I think a lot of people are talking about. Just a little spoiler on that. I think a lot of people are making too much out of it, but I do think it does need to be addressed because it raises some problems of its own. But I honestly would not factor that into whether or not you go to see this maybe. So that's all I've got for now. You know, again, not exactly a review thing, so don't rely on me for this. Just sharing my opinion. Hope you enjoyed the video, and hope to see you on the next one. Salud. Take care.